Hey everybody, welcome back to a wet, cold, but increasingly sunny England. Today I want to talk about getting off-grid. I think many of you watching this channel are either interested in that journey or you also have a dream yourselves to be off-grid. I'm the same as you, I'm not off-grid at the moment. But I'm doing a few things that are helping me, hopefully, on that journey, and I wanted to share them with you. So today I'm going to share with you 5 things that I'm doing to help me on my journey off-grid, which are also increasing my sustainability and hopefully my health. So let's get into them. Number 1, grow something. And this is applicable for everyone in all situations. If you have a bedroom, a living room, you can grow microgreens. You don't need to be growing beds of vegetables outside, you can be growing microgreens. I've got microgreens in a tiny little setup and it's so good. There's so many benefits to microgreens. One is they're really nutritious. All the nutrients from the whole plant are packed into that tiny little plant. Second is it's so cost effective. So looking at these bags of seeds, I've got 3 different things that I grow mostly: mustard, rocket and radish, mostly because they're the peppery kind. These bags cost me between £5 and £6 each. I get 4 kilograms of salad from that one bag. It's almost a factor of 10 if you were to buy a bag of rocket or arugula in the supermarket, especially here in the UK. You'd be paying about £1.60 per 100 grams, and I can do it for 15 pence 100 gram. So it's insane. The setup is so small. So the setups cost me £40 to buy more trays than I could ever use. The light cost me £30. There's a link in the description. And I made the frame that they all sit on. The cocoa coir, which I use as the medium, that cost me maybe £10 or £15 for that. So all in all, I've probably invested about £60 to £80 in my microgreen setup. But I can keep producing salad all year round, and it's a fraction of the price. So if you're doing that for a year or 2 years, you have made your money back so easily, and it's really healthy. So that's something you can definitely do. Number 2, doing small projects to learn skills and identify gaps in your knowledge. This is a big one. Think about the things you might want to do when you're off-grid. I've chosen the digester, a water heater, and have a look on YouTube, see how to build them, get some information, and then just do it. Because as you'll see, now let me get into a secret. I didn't get it right. I didn't know much about these things when I started it. But now I've been building them and I can see where there are gaps in that information on YouTube for a start, and that means I've got to learn it through trial and error. These things are not big things, they're not big investments. I mean, my digesters probably cost me, I would say, in the region of £100 to get going. The rocket stove cost me probably the same, about £100. So I'm not spending loads of money on these things, but small projects really help because you can learn skills, you can see where you're not very strong, and you can teach yourself these things. I mean, YouTube is a great example where if you want to learn a skill, you go in there and you find one. So that is a massive one, and it's something you can do all the time after work. It's so easy, especially in the UK and I guess in the States, to buy things, get them delivered, and then you can work on these little projects in your spare time. Number 3, we've spoken about doing practical things to learn skills in terms of building stuff. But another thing you can do on a small scale, that might not be applicable to everyone if you're living in an apartment, but even with a small yard, you can have chickens. These guys are incredible. You need a small amount of space. As long as you provide them with food, you can get fresh eggs. And just doing that small thing is such a rewarding feeling that I think it will drive you on to do more. Now, they're really simple to look after. Just to make sure they've got a house, clean house, water, food, a bit of space to walk around and peck and scratch, and they will produce you eggs. I've taken that a little bit further, and a lot of the input into chickens is their food. So what I've been thinking about is what we can replace that grain with. I've been keeping mealworms. Now, mealworms are easy to keep, they don't require a lot of maintenance, and they can produce a lot of food. One downside of it is they are slow to reproduce, relatively. I've started my mealworm farm probably 3 months ago now, and I'm just getting to the size. You can see these little guys here, just getting to the size where the mealworms are, you can see them. So it takes a long time, but once I've got that production going, I hopefully will be able to produce mealworms to feed these guys to reduce the grain costs. And now then you've got the mealworms, you can raise them, you can keep half of them back, raise them into beetles, they'll lay more eggs, you'll raise more real worms. So then it's more of a sustainable process. The only inputs then is the bedding for them. I can do a whole video on the mealworms if you're interested, so let me know in the description below. But it's an interesting thing. There's loads of different other insects you can raise, and I'm just looking at mealworms, maybe even soldier flies at some point, and crickets, for both for the chickens and for maybe even human consumption. But let's not get into that here. So yeah, let me know below. Let's get on to the next one. Number 4, brewing or making your own drinks. So that can be your alcohol, wine, beer, different spirits. In the UK we do slow vodka or slow gin. The thing that I'm doing at the moment, the main thing that I'm doing, is brewing my own kombucha. Now, kombucha is really trendy at the moment, really trendy, but it's really tasty. There are lots of claims about its health benefits, and as far as I can tell from reading different scientific papers about it, it's pretty much been unproven. But what I can tell you is it's tasty and it's better than drinking soda. So I've stopped drinking any sugary drinks, any soda, any cordials, anything like that, and I only drink water and kombucha. One of the main thing is the sugar. There is sugar in kombucha because it's fermented sweet tea essentially. The fermentation process produces a little bit of alcohol, but it turns the sugars into alcohols and acids. A little bit of alcohol, mostly acids. That's why you get the tangy flavour, and also carbon dioxide, so you get a carbonation of the drink. So as you can see here, it's pretty funny looking. You have the SCOBY on top. That's where all the bacteria are that will then ferment the drink for you. There's 2 stages to it. There's the first fermentation where you're fermenting the sugary sweet tea, and there's a second stage where you're adding a flavour to it and giving it a little boost to make it fizzy. You get these really nice glass bottles. There's no plastic waste from it because you're just using tea bags and sugar. That's your only inputs. Once you've got your SCOBY, you're good. So yeah, definitely give it a try. Number 5 is research. It is worth it spending the time researching where you want to live. How are you going to, all the kind of the technicalities of what you want to do. Is it possible in that area? How are you going to support yourself when you get off grid? For example, your telecommunications, your internet, your phone, your council tax, those kind of things. So where's that money going to come from? I think it's something that not a lot of people really think about. You think you're going to produce your own food, be off grid with solar or whatever of wind and energy, and then you won't need anything else. But unfortunately, we live in a modern world, so you're going to need some source of income. Research is what you need, and there is so many resources out there on the internet. I'll link down to a few that I've been using, but obviously depending on where you are in the world, it might change. But anyway, research. Now I've bought this an amazing book called Regenerative Agriculture by Richard Perkins. Some of you may have heard of him. That is an absolutely incredible amount of knowledge in that book, and I would advise anyone to get it. I have no affiliations with him at all, but it is an incredible book. Especially if you want it to be off grid, you're going to want to produce your own food, and maybe you even see that as a way of earning money. And this goes through loads of different ways that you can do different enterprises on small farms and making them work. Okay everyone, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate everyone watching and subscribing. I've reached 100 subscribers in 2 months, which was, I never really thought would happen, but thank you very much. It's been great. It's been fun making the videos. Any more ideas about videos you'd like to watch, put them in the links below. Like I said, if you're interested in the insect stuff or kombucha or a bit more about the microgreens, let me know. Otherwise, we've got some more stuff on the rocket stove heater and the digester coming up. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Catch you on the next one.